running over nation. Thanks for the beautiful woman. I am your woman. I'm a strong woman. Listen to this woman. The spirit of women is cold. The cause of unity will answer. Today's woman. Today's woman. Hello, good evening, everyone. It's good to be back home. Good to be here. I know last week, I believe we had a conversation, trying to get regular again on our conversation. There's a lot going on, but today I'm going to take it easy for an hour. Just hang out with you. Let's talk about the unfolding. I'm not really going to talk about much today. There's so much that's going on in our country, but I like to talk about the deception that continue to destroy Liberia. It's great to be optimistic, but it's also good to be realistic. And we must forge forward and leave a better Liberia children and our grandchildren. We must look ourselves, each of us, in the mirror and have a candid conversation, first and foremost, with ourselves before any other person. So that said, this is another episode of Second Thoughts, Sunday evening edition, You Reimagine. We are trying to reimagine what a Liberia that is transparent will look like. Try to reimagine how do we create a nation of inclusion, of loyal citizens, patriotic citizens to their nation and the nation causes. What will Liberia look like? Reimagine what will Liberia look like, as stated in, say that the who? What's that? What are you ordering? Okay, sorry, folks. My daughter' birthday is coming up, so I see her with these luggage, a big old Amazon box. So that's what we're trying to reimagine. Let me just chronicle a few things. How Singapore got to how Singapore got to, from the third word to first word. Okay, if you can't find that book and read, okay, we'll link one you. Okay, top 5 strategy that help them: strong and transparent governance, anti-corruption policies. Singapore developed a zero tolerance approach to corruption, meaning stealing, looting, lying. Okay, lying is a corruption. When people look people straight in the face and lie, when you take credit for other people, what we call in the developed world a place that they ever call plagiarism. Okay, you're taking credit for other people's work, even if it's intellectual work, any intellectual property, or even physical property for that matter. It's dishonesty, it's corruption. Okay, so and what there were strict laws and enforcement to ensure government integrity. All right, as Pedalio. Okay, meritocracy, meaning giving jobs to people based on not who they knew, what tribe they spoke, what country they come from, what gender they were, but they were qualified and they could do the job and they were held accountable. Here we go. Meritocracy. All right. Leaders were chosen based on ability and performance, ensuring competence at every level of government or governance. All right. Long-term planning. The government implemented far-sighted policies to create a stable, predictable environment for investment and growth. This is Singapore. Okay. The human capital development. This is your biggest any nation for that matter. So I'm gonna go back to the America that when when it's something bad that you've done, you say, hey, America can do it. Okay. But when there's something big that is good that America is doing, then you say, oh, how can you compare Liberia with America? Here it is. The white people left England, Austria, okay, Scotland, and came to America. They had their own episode. But when they first started, the charters that they started, the first people they brought in were people with talent because they needed to build a place where when the other people come, they can also survive and fit in. All right. So the first approach was, what do we need? Who do we need to build this nation? Especially where I live in Georgia. They got carpenter. And the story goes like this. Even in the biblical times, when David was about to die, before he could, when God told him he could not build his temple, but he planned long term for who to take over, what do we need? His contact, all right? His contacts. Now that brings me to, and I will speak on it, and hopefully I can flow within the 1 hour that I'm here, right? So David left his contacts with his son. Solomon knew who were the best stone cutter in the whole of that empire. All right. Solomon knew who to go to for the best carpet, silk handcrafted carpet for the temple. He knew who to go to lay the floor. He knew where you could go to find cedar wood, what region of the place that he could go. Require planning for the next generation. That is it. Planning for the next generation. Positioning yourself for growth, for change. All right? Human capital development. So Solomon were able to do the connection. You see America, the white people in America, and today something came out. John Mahama won the election in Ghana. And I see people running. Oh, is going to run. He's going to win the next election. The next election, all he wants. If that what the Liberian people want, for me, that's fine. But you have to look at the record of the people you say you're coming back. Okay? When you want to compare America, America is at a crossroad where the white people who enslaved everybody here, literally, are becoming the minority. And they are afraid because of the atrocity that some of them follow cause, the mayhem that they cause, and they think those things will happen. They are fighting for survival. It's the same thing we call tribalism. Their own is racism. All right? Working only in their interest. It don't matter who they choose. In America, you smoke weed and you get caught. I'm talking about opium. You're going to jail. You got record. Now we are electing criminals because we are desperate. That's not the same. And we're living on the economy. We just have millions of jobs created by Biden. All right? So leave America out of it. We got 4% unemployment. We got system and processes. We have citizens that are aware, that will stand up, that stood up before to a kingdom. When the going gets tough, if they finally feel that they've been threatened, they will stand up, unlike Liberia. So that's the difference. But let's talk about Ghana and there. But before I talk about Ghana, let me finish this with Singapore. How they were able to get out. And this will bring me to the show on Spoon yesterday with my own brother Gafuan. Because folks, I didn't hear anything new. Nothing new. But the same old story. And for the same old story, we will end up in the same old place. All right? Because there were no new idea. There were no means of us generating funds within. He didn't tell us what plan they have to cultivate the talent and tap into the talent that is available to us. Okay, how we can capitalize, Lord have mercy, on our own resources. Besides the extraction, we can be depleted, and it's depleting. Okay, so that's what I would like to talk about. All we're talking about is borrowing money. Borrowing money. Folks, I'm gonna go ahead and share this. Again, I'm not gonna be here long. I will not hear. I don't believe I was here last week, so I understand. No anticipation. Guys, I'm live. Nyla, I'm live. Okay. Guys, if you're here, please share the video for me. Please share. So I talked about transparency. I talked about having an idea and a plan. I talked about investing in your people, you require human capital. And that's what the things that I've talked about so far. All right. So if you ask, and I'm listening again, how did we say Singapore came from a third world to a first world, city among third world nation? Again, we say meritocracy. Leaders were chosen based on ability and performance, ensuring competence at every level of governance. It also talked about anti-corruption policy. Singapore developed a zero-tolerance approach to corruption with strict laws and enforced to ensure government integrity. Right here, that word integrity, word that is used so loosely in Liberia, loosely, with no bearing on the people that they attribute it to. Integrity means people who have character, someone who does the right thing, no matter the consequence at all times. That's what integrity is. Okay, the person who lies when it's convenient does not have integrity. Okay, the person who looks away, okay, when wrong things are happening, and so long that person does not have integrity. Hi, sis. Okay, the person who sees evil, but because that evil benefits them, it does not have integrity. So integrity is doing the right thing at all times, even if no one is looking, or even if no one knows. That's integrity. Like, remember, people, we will sit right on this platform. Me, I know you're like cussing, you're like the yelling. When I was in Virginia last week, okay, no, I was not live. So Virginia, I was in Virginia last week. And when Prince Johnson had died, when I was talking, there are over 10,000 of you that watched it. 10,000 still sharing. Okay. The show before I got 7,000. The one before I got 8,000. I remember being on this platform 2016, 2017. Yes. Me, Emmanuel Savage, I understand popularity is the perishable good. And because of that, I'm very cognizant about not sweating with the popular. Because popular does not mean right. Popularity does not simply mean that you have a character, you have integrity. One thing that I pray to uphold is at all times my integrity, what I stand for, my character. Okay, no kind of paycheck, no amount of job, no office, no title, no family, no loyalty is worth my sanity or my character or my spirituality. It does not. Okay. I'm not religious. I always tell you that. But I'm spiritual. I believe there's a higher power. As such, I treat other people the way I want to be treated. And we'll continue to speak up. Tuesday, I will talk about my travel to the Trasamans Legacy Award. It was a wonderful evening. It was overly sold. And as you all know, as Liberian, we do everything at the last moment. So apparently, they had like a poof, like a flood of people at the last moment. So the place was overly crowded, which is a good thing. It means there's attraction. It means people have heard about this young man different. There were a lot of us from different spheres in that building at the same time. Some of us who have clashed on Facebook, we have clashed on other social media platforms, we have picked up phone and been, but we were in that place, very civil, appreciating what each of us bring to the table. Okay, all of you welcome. All right. So, in all respects, hi, Pastor. Yes, and usually, and most of you, if y'all don't know this, and I like to speak to this for my own credibility. All right, and people will say people are bragging, people are not. I came to this country at a very young age, right after the First War. Okay, I was homeless in this country. I overcame it. I went to school in this country. I was working sometimes 2 and 3 jobs, trying to support my siblings in refugee camps from Ivory Coast to Guinea to Senegal to Ghana. And still, I see Pastor Moses here. I grew up in this town. All of these people know me. What I stand for, what I stand for. Even if a pastor think I should go the other way, and that's not my values. And that's why I tell Liberian people, teach your children to know who they are so somebody else can tell them where they are. I have girls, when they say high-headed, in fact, my daughters were telling me, Mommy, you taught us to be independent women, young women. So they start here. Although I left Liberia, left my parents, came to this country, but I kept my character. I remember in my early 20s, okay, when big girls and boys did as a college kids, did I go to club? Yes, I partied like it was 1999. I can tell anybody every day. But I partied clean. I usually used to be the designated driver for my cousins when we go out. Okay. Yes, I would take the stage, but I didn't drink. I didn't hoard around. Okay. I'm sorry. I was not saying I was young. In fact, most people who knew me, they thought maybe I was a gold digger because I was always, every time I came out, either my Donga flat from the dollar store that I wore, I made sure it was clean. I made sure my makeup was on point. Then I didn't even wear makeup. Maybe I didn't start wearing makeup till in my late 20s and 30s. Okay. And that was on occasion, not every day. Pretty random. So I'm not saying I'm perfect. Listen, I've had my time. I have my day. I have my heartbreak. I've broken people's heart. Okay. I have my own respect and disrespect because I'm human with plenty of flaws. But I'm just telling you, teach, especially those of you who have daughters, teach them to understand they have a voice. Teach them to understand self-worth. You know, I'm not big on men because we come from a society of men. That men have always been role models. That boys will look at the community. The majority until now, the pastors in our communities are men. So our sons have people to model after. All right. Hopefully in my community. I'm not talking about Liberia. Liberia, that Gopa and Goma that dominates the streets. Naila, are you okay? Okay. Now, so I started this conversation with how can we then compare? Because the thing is, you don't need to read, you don't need to re-engineer. You need to reimagine and modify where the word is. Liberians don't write codes. There's no research and development center in Liberia. If you look at Liberia people budget, okay, you got consultancy. You don't have education, I say research and development, meaning we have a research place where our so-called PhDs or masters and masters and master over masters, where they come on Facebook to brag about just because to get a government job, okay? We are not creator, we are consumer and government brats and government stocks. And I'm talking, my name is Yacendi Madumpe, and I make no apology. This is the fact. And in Liberia, the moment you get a master's degree, they get this arrogant and feel entitled that you get a master's degree, so then you're entitled to a government job or you're entitled to demean everybody. What's funny is when I first came to the country, I worked in a place where majority of the young people had degrees, but they didn't walk around. The moment you say hello, oh, I am Peter Paul, Nicholas this, and I have a master's degree or I have a PhD. No. Especially in that work for an engineering firm. You show your knowledge, your accomplishment by being innovative, being competitive, bringing something to the table, being able to contribute. Okay. I tell people when you are in the undergraduate level, you have a professor to help you navigate the critical thought process, okay? How you need to get to your next level to decide what you really do want to be, what you're good at, okay? By the master's degree level, you have facilitator, where you have already learned structure and all of that. Now, they're going to help you, lead you. But you have to do the bulk of the work. You have to do the critical thinking. You have to do the navigation, the research, and all of that. And you already understand the process. What design are you going to use? Where research you're going to use? Okay, where action you're going to use to do your research? What style? MLA, APA. Okay, all of these different styles. Who are you at that time? You should know and have a clear define where you want to be. Sarah, welcome. So, like that's what I was saying. So, and I'm bringing this back. At first, I was Singapore. All right. In the coming days, folks, I will remind us we will get mad, but we will get over it ourselves. All right. I will play the TRC report. I used to play it when Jerome and Verdi and I used to do a show. Okay. We will be hurt. We will get hurt. We're supposed to get hurt. Okay. After we've gotten hurt, because we're really not hurt. Because if we were hurt as Liberians, at this point, we put accountable. If we were country, at this point, those of us who survive, who have come together and be in agreement, regardless of our tribe, regardless of our country, regardless of who in leadership, and say, listen, we chose you. You have a job to do. We want to boldly go to our next step. That we build Liberia where all Liberians are a part. So I've talked about three things: governance and how Singapore navigated, overcame in a region, a third world region, to become a first world country. Not just a tourist destination, but investors' destination. We talked about that. I also brought into space to the religion people. I'm not religious. I am spiritual. I believe there is a divine power. I believe there's a maker of here. I believe there's a man higher than me, my father, and everyone else that is responsible for our DNA. I believe that. All right. But I also believe to live like the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. Okay. So, as yourself, trigger, action, as yourself. You cannot love somebody if you don't love yourself, because then you don't know what it is. Love your neighbor as yourself. When I hear Liberian children that are struggling to eat, when I hear Liberian children with a big student companion book, Memorize. That some of them can't pronounce correctly. When I hear them with those high-level words, trying to defend politicians, try to defend liars and killers and child molesters, try to defend rogues, okay, at a higher level, and say they love them. You don't even know what love is. You don't love yourself. Because you love yourself, you will not be defending a man or a woman. Yes, Peter. A man or a woman who continues to abuse your siblings, abuse your family, abuse your friend, abuse your nation, make the rest of the world disrespect you, you would not be supporting them. You wouldn't. I don't need to sit here. I'm okay. Unlike some people who just having children to buy diapers, I don't have to buy diapers. So literally what I work for, besides paying my little bill, it's mine. I ain't got to give to nobody. At my age, all my babies are going. My last baby is ready to go to college. Y'all see right here? The way the world works. I have a house full of, you see right here? These are different universities for my daughter. Many. She's in the honor society. My whole table, I'm not going to move this, okay? It's full of, with literally almost every university in America. I don't know how many university, I'm not saying college, it's university. Tab leave from all the way Massachusetts to New York to what do you call it? New Haven, Minnesota. You think about it, almost all the 50 states. Let me move this so I can show it to y'all. This is how things work. Meritocracy. You earn it. I'm sorry. Y'all see right here? Y'all see right there? All of that, everywhere. I get it. And she have already. The first semester of high school and not ended yet. Teacher is Peter is a teacher and used to be a Brown, which is a Ivy League. So he understands. Most of you on here, like Cicero and all of that, you understand what I'm talking about. We have not even completed the first semester of her senior year. Okay? But here it is. She have already decided where she's going to go. Okay? Working on different scholarships. Some have already, we've gotten so many, I'm not going to say it. Okay? Because that money that will go in my pocket, that money that will go to her school, depending on what she choose. Okay? And this is why we speak, Peter. So, I started the conversation with transforming. How do we come from where we are to go? I started with my own, with yesterday interview on Spoon with Gafwan. I heard no plans. Okay? Me, I'm not looking for a job, so I can speak my truth. Even if I were looking for a job, I would still speak my truth. It would be based on, because that's my name. That may be. All right? Yeah, early emission. Yeah, big deal, Peter. Your niece is doing this. Yes, yes. All right. Then here we go. I listened to Gafwan yesterday, and I heard him repeating himself, his past life in his past position. All right? His past life, his past position. I have nothing against the man. He's a brother. I want you to know that he was a best friend to my brother. But for me, my brother was in government. I spoke my truth, even in his face. Ask anybody who knows me. Because my loyalty is to my country. I'm a patriot through and through, with no horsebar, no reservation. All right? Now, here we go. I didn't hear him telling us how he, Gafwan, will use our local resources to expand, okay, our economy. I didn't hear any of that. Number one, he seemed very antagonistic, already had the war, his wars up, okay, and were there to say, I'm here to lecture you. Ooh, I almost said something. Let me hold my tongue. I gotta be nice. All right. He worked for African Development Bank. African Development Bank is gouging the whole of Africa. Okay. African development, what really they're doing? Giving loan to corrupt people to continue to sabotage the nation while they make the people who give their money to them rich. And Africa become more enslaved. All right. This question came from someone yesterday, they know this, and I'm gonna ask and say, here is what real intelligent and civilized citizen would ask, right? Who are we borrowing from? Who we borrowing the money from? First, he started with, we were behind this, a $5 million grant. Folks, Liberian people, government do not get grants and start instantaneously. Just to be worked in the back for some times. All right? For some times. Two, how much are we borrowing? What is the interest of what we are borrowing? We already owe almost more than $2 billion for almost 100 plus years, or more than 100 years. Liberia owned about 4 billion. After the war, most of those loans were forgiven, and we still got billions of dollars over there. These are the same people who divided it. They were gone for 6 years, and most of them could not even afford anything. Their houses they were in, some of them still not selling it. Now they're rebuilding everything. Who were abusing Liberian young girls and boys. Yes, we have videos where at his wedding, he asked his guests, young Liberian girls and boys, to naked themselves. And your Senator Snow, we're going to give $1,000 whoever naked themselves at a wedding. At a wedding, a Patrick Hunter wedding. And when Patrick Hunter was at LBS, he actually blacklisted people who could get radio station, or not radio station, what they call it. Where they start, it's radio station, but for them to get the air license. All right. Yeah, he did. But when it was time for them to leave, guess what? He got himself a license, a radio station. Still sitting as one of the leaders. That's a conflict of interest. But Liberian people, ethic again, I spoke of ethical environment, which we don't have, which we don't understand. Because you always go, and that person did it, and that person, when the person was doing it, you said it was wrong. When the person was doing it, you stood up. When the person was doing it because it was not in your interest, you spoke up. It was wrong. Wrong today. Now, the fourth question was, what are we borrowing for? For what reason are we borrowing? We didn't hear it. You're borrowing the money on behalf of the people for our children to pay, but you don't feel. But I wish Peter can find time, because we want to talk about governance. Liberia has this feel, by the way. Okay, to talk about what that means, what a government means, what all of these people position me. We're not going to get into all their legal terms, but we're going to get into their function and functionalities. If you're a democracy, okay, supposed to do, what is your role? Why do we have government? Why do we have government? We're going to talk about that, but I don't want to go all over the place, because y'all know me. I can veer of like 200 miles per hour in the Bugatti without thinking about it. All right. Now, what is the anticipation of return? The money we are borrowing, or that we agree to borrow, where Liberia stands in an integrity, or equitable, or reputable bank to borrow Liberia any money with the kind of name that she's had in the last 18 years. It wouldn't. But it's like we are walking and we're taking our children and giving up to the masters to be slave. Then we'll come back later and say they took my child and they mistreated my child. You sold your child. You're selling the future of our children. That's what you're doing. So when I listened to Brother Gaffwan yesterday, Minister Gaffwan yesterday, I didn't hear. I will play my classroom, just my classroom without my students. They have 2 million to upgrade school and buy chairs. They brought the table and the chairs from China. Voice. I see wood in the market. I see Ghana coming to Liberia to take our logs. Taking it. We have some of the rare woods in the world to take them. But you go to China. You know, for 14 years, we built the economy of Ghana, of Ivory Coast, Guinea. When you go in Liberian leaders' houses, they show you, even our offices, these are Italian made. The wool was taken from your country raw, cheap, by bribing a few of your people. They were taken to manufacture, refined, and you're very you. They brought it back to sell it to you for 15, 20, and 30,000. You're breaking the body because you're stupid. Yes, stupid. Stupid leadership. Brainless. I said it. Stupid, and somebody will say she's disrespectful. It's a description of an attitude that people exhibit. Lack of intelligence. I said it. Imagine that. Imagine that. So I was talking about Singapore, and then I talked about, based on what we learned between Solomon and David. So before David died, Solomon was connected. Solomon was connected to his father connections. Let me make the point to you. Your leaders, okay, are supposed to complement the nation and the nation progress. It is their duty to set the tune. They're supposed to direct the nation so the next generation can be prepared. You see, in America, Black people still fighting to get ahead. Because when the white people came to this country, when they took over, killed the Indian people, drove them out, took their land, they divided among themselves. One family, you got to be white, 21 years old, 200 acres of land, you develop it in a family. As they go and sell it, they're already rich off the back. So the Black people that were brought to this country were brought to work on the farm. So by the time they fought in the civil right to get their freedom, to be able to, they have to start all over. What has changed greatly in this country is the emergence of technology. A lot of Black children fighting hard to create a lifestyle for them and their children. Sports, talent, and a lot of sacrifice. Peter said he's a coach. These kids that you see, they say they're born made NFL. They're Peter that will tell you how much time they have to put in. They have to be the best among the best. Even with us Black people among our peers, we must come with our A games. With our A games. So I hear. So yesterday, the point I'm making here, the government, and this story goes to your young Liberian children. who they're paying to come on Facebook to destroy yourself, to curse people, to insult. I saw one just posted and say, this is not me talking, quote unquote, RRP Tomafala. That now his enemy or his opponent, children are posting it, that you who ain't get food to eat. Yes. Okay. So they say in Singapore when Lee Kuan Yew was based on meritocracy. The leaders were chosen based on ability and performance in showing competence at every level of governance. You got people, men then who were here, right here in Philadelphia, could not even afford anything, bragging about what they were doing. You start a company in America where at the end of the year, you might get 100,000, 200,000, depending on what you're doing. Tax break, okay? You pack up, you go to Liberia. They show you under the rare bottom. A man showing rare bottom. A man showing rare bottom. Poor country. Leaders wearing Armani suits and Louis Vuitton. And Gucci belts. But you have 3.5 million of your population of 5.3 million can afford $2 to eat a day, one time a day. You have 300,000 young people addicted to drugs and counting by the day with no mental home, no drug rehab, no plan to get it off the street. Based on what? Due to depression and hopelessness. And your drive buying $1 million, paying $3,000 for generator. You know, I kept saying this thing to the Liberian people. There is absolutely no reason for your senators to be forced to hold the executive accountable, looking at the budget and say this budget is not a reflection of the people. Here's this, Sonia. This budget is not the reflection of the people, what is needed in the country. That budget should not have 86% for salary. For the three top government officials, the lawmakers, you know, the lawmakers, the executive, and the judiciary. Those are the people who get the money. You got police officer walking by line, no police patrol cars. When we were in Ganta, Saclay-Pied, with 40,000 plus people in Saclay-Pied, there were one pickup truck with police, one. And you know who donated it? Musability, a business donated it. We drove many times from Monrovia to Ganta to Tapeta. When I see one police car. We drove many times in the heart of Montserrado. When you come up the street of a Crown Hill, right there before you bend to go the back of the LU, where you got a techno shop, all right? Police stand over there in the sun and in the rain, begging. And I said two-way, begging. At the same word. In Liberia, we say begging for money. In America, we say begging. Asking people to help them. You know, there is a video that making a run on social media about EPS official asking for bribe. Something is inherently wrong with us as Liberians. Now, I'm going to go back like what I said. So, it also said, I'm going to bring this home. Singapore was strong, okay, a strong and transparent government that were anti-corruption, that the anti-corruption policies. Singapore developed a zero-tolerance approach to corruption with strict laws and enforcement to ensure government integrity. That's how they overcame. That's how they got over. Okay. Now, the long-term planning, the government implemented far-sighted policies to create stable, predictable environment for investment growth. It also spoke of the human capital. Human capital is literally training your people, investing in your people. We have a saying that goes, when you invest in the people will build their nation. Martin Colley, all of them knew me, and Martin Colley had a lot of conversation with Bouaka when we first brought him on. He told me that why he didn't vote for Bouaka the first time. He told me that he knew that he was not looking at paper way, but whatever they did in the end, they changed their mind. That is okay. They brought us here. All right. Now, Singapore prioritize a high quality education system to produce a skilled workforce. Special emphasis was placed on STEM. Y'all know who put special emphasis on STEM? I'm not yet to speak for Mr. Cummings today, but Alexander Cummings built, that's the first thing he did when he went to Liberia. He built the first STEM school, 2014, 2015. I think open in 2015 that have been around educating some of the brilliant man, cultivating them, not halfway. He got some of the best teachers from around the world in math and sciences and engineering. In fact, the first proposal, my husband, which is the structural engineer with a PhD, was a part of that planning process. And I'm saying this live. All right. Not only did Alexander Cummings do so, all the university in Liberia, he has a STEM department that he supports. But we don't hear like they ask you, what have you done? Because you don't buy them back of rice. They ask you, what has he done? He's supposed to go to their man, their houses and put them outside and rebuild their house and put them in the back car and put it in front of you from where he works so hard for. Okay. So I'm reading to you Lee Kuan Yew worldview. It's economic worldview. Okay, how he was able to change his nation. Okay, so they focus on STEM because this is where the world we're going to. A leader must have vision, must be far-sighted, must be, and that's why everybody cannot be a leader. Okay, leaders supposed to be the dreamers who project the future and take the people from where they are or where they want to be and where they ought to be. That's the essence of leadership. Oh. David planned and connected his son, and I will bring this to bear sometime before I end the show. All right. Lee Kuan Yew policy was open and competitive economic, trade, liberalization. Okay. Singapore adopted an open market economy, reducing trade barriers and establishing itself as a global hub for trade, finance, and logistics. Y'all hear it? Liberia. You know, and I started to go this way. I said, there is no, when I talk about Patriot Hyundai, because I'm going to bring my thought together before I leave. All right. So let's look at this. You have people, number one, Matthew Nyemplu told us, you got LBS. They can't even write work plan. I told them, contact me and write your work plan. Tell me what your vision is, and I will send you at least a template that you can build upon in less than 24 hours. They're waiting for US Embassy to write a work plan for them for their information department. Okay? Now, I came back to say, David had connected Solomon, create a path So Solomon, all he needed to do, get the information, work hard, and build the temple. Complete the job and pass it on to the next generation. We do not do that. Those of you who are religious, I'm bringing you from the word standpoint and the religious standpoint. So I'm bringing that to you so you can say, oh, another way God works. That's the way God works. You see, Bill Gates' father was. You know who Bill Gates' father was? You know who Zuckerberg's parents are? The multi-millionaire. Very educated. Think father is a dentist, mother is somebody. You see, Elon Musk? Elon mother was the supermodel, a multi-millionaire. So I hear some of you, somebody come and say, oh, education don't matter. You need a foundation that teach you critical thinking. Education does not matter. Look at your country. You don't have educated people. You got people who memorize, got a degree paper hanging on the wall, who cannot think outside of what they read in a book. They're not critical thinkers. Okay? They're not creative. They're not innovative. Okay? Oh, calling me. So I will continue here. So we talk about our open market. Liberia does not. The Lebanese people, there is an article that was written during the last UP led, the Eli and Bouaka led government. It called colonization within, where the money that we sent 500 million that goes to Liberia, that very 500 million makes its way out of Liberia to Lebanon every year. I know they added Indian to that. Yes, Pastor, we love to heal thieves. Now the Chinese are there with their own competition. The other day, we do not have any of our languages in our schools, but they open a department to speak Chinese. You can barely speak English, that it's supposed to be your language, but now you're going to be speaking. As I stated, there is no incentive for your government official to have electricity or to have running water or internet. You know why? Or to have a role. Because you are coming to put on the sari, it does not matter if your wife is delivering. It does not matter if your child has an emergency. You're forced to pull over for them to pass. If you people remember 2 years ago, Beaufort Chamber, car hit a pregnant woman. Her baby died in her stomach. Beaufort Chamber, at the same time going, they said that the speaker hit another man. And when the man went to the police station to lay his complaint, Beaufort Chamber went there and took the paper and tore it up. The man complained. We air it right here. Peter, you remember. So why would they want to face the road? You think if I see my city mayor coming, you think he's stupid to drive the wrong way? He will not have a job because we know better. He will be recalled. He will be recalled. You got somebody like Patrick Hunter getting 3,600 for his generator. You think the people working for LEC, do you think it would be prudent for them to forego the 3,000, the 4,000, the 5,000, the 8,000, the 9,000, okay, to have electricity for everyone? But guess what? If you get electricity for everyone in the country, guess what's going to happen? And get a good internet, create a job, maybe another 100,000 jobs. You get a help desk job because Liberians are eloquent, fluent in English, okay? So you can get a call center that support car servicing. You can get a call center that supports, okay, doctor offices for call in after hours when the other side of the world is sleeping. You can get a call center support for ordering like Amazon's, okay, and different companies. Your young people can get to work. You just create a job without you doing anything. And that particular internet service will also create jobs. Will also create jobs for your network, help desk support, computer engineers, desktop support. You just created jobs. No, Peter, they're not going to come. You know, you and I used to say here, they're not going to come because it made too much sense. Exactly. Somebody like me or somebody like you, we can sit right in Liberia and teach online and still get paid what we're worth. Teach online. I have colleagues who have 2 jobs. They teach in the day, in the night. They have classes that they teach private schools around the world. That they break that time. One of my department here teach all the way outside of the country. He teach American history and English on a digital classroom. And spend the money in Liberia. Thank you, Peter. We can build our, and I keep telling Liberian people, we are the middle class that created. We are, Jesus Christ. When I say Liberia is brain drain, Liberia is not brain drain. Then you got the talking heads in Liberia. When you talk, oh, I'm saying master's degree. Look at your output based on your master's degree in Liberia. What is that? Yelling, cussing people, trying to diminish people who have earned their space. You know, I'm not sure if any of you saw my post, and I will read this post again before I get off because my time is almost over. All right. But to finish up, I talk about the open market that Singapore created, and I will restate it. Okay. Open competitive economic trade liberalization. Singapore adopted an open market economy, reducing trade barriers and establishing itself as a global hub for trade, finance, and logistics. All right. This is Singapore. A third world in the middle of third world country. Mindset, leadership, not just talking to monopolize things. Okay. Now you go on. Free trade agreement. Singapore FTA to extend its economic reach. Okay. Guess what it did? Infrastructure development. World-class infrastructure. We're talking about that dusty thing you're doing there. Let me tell you something. The airport that Georgia paid, okay, $28 million for. Here, they got 2 gates, I think 2 runway. $28 million. I will post it on my page. I want you to go there and read it. You spend $50 million to an airport that don't have electricity. You got solar light, not even the current solar light stays on. The internet highway don't work. It's so slow. I've been there. When you get over there, because it's right over Firestone, the place stinks because of the rubber scent, the chemical. The whole airport, there's no certain place. They say they got restaurant. You enter the restaurant, you go sit down, you and the flat, then be fighting over your food. No sanitation. When I go to, and the thing is, that's the problem. Guys, that area can be developed. You can build car deck and have deck attendants that each person that come over there, you can park 300, 400 cars over there. Like people who traveling, who don't want to pay better to take their car home. They can come. There's a place there. You have an attendant that will park their car. They're going for a week. People flying in and out that they don't have to come and get somebody to come pick them up. So you got a particular, maybe the top level, just reserved for that. You just created jobs. Folks, I told you, ask me. I will give you idea free. Yes. Guess what? You will say my background. I have an MBA. That's the cream de la cream of business school. But I love what I do. I love teaching. I love to see my kids when they're graduating from high school. I love when they come back after they're gotten out of college. That means I, Yacindy, will never die. Physically, I will die. But guess what? The lives that I touch, one of those kids, 3 of those kids will remember there was this lady with a really thick accent. They can say, "You're very pretty, Miss Martin, for your accent." Some of them can be really nice. Miss Martin, I really love your accent. Little flirt, but they're kids. They were special little boys, right? They're kids, that American school system. My 7th grader, my 8th grader, my 6th grader, especially my 8th graders. Yes, yeah, okay. Right here. We're here. So the thing is, they're afraid of competition. But let me read this and then I will finish my thought. That's what I wanted to talk about today. I will finish my thought on the what I was saying to y'all. Let me read it. That was from yesterday. And I'm going to start off by saying to my sister and friend, Dr. Richardson, happy birthday, Ma. All right. I got to hang out with you this weekend. Thank you for coming out to support me and escort me out there. It was wonderful. I'd appreciate it. Here we go. I read a story yesterday while on the plane about Joshua Bell. Joshua Bell is a violinist who performed, all right, folks, orchestra. All right, it states, and I'm not going to go far with it. It said that this is my story that I wrote. And it said, persist and shine regardless. Persist and shine regardless. Long read, but worth it. The story of Alexander B. Cummings, former CEO of Coca-Cola. Do you know what it's like for a Black man in America to be a CEO of a legacy organization? And your sit, some of you, your father then will never even dream that close before I would say your grandpa then. Some of your men who will not even reach that, but you're so, instead of asking for help, you're so rude and disrespectful. You'll get on Facebook all day long insulting that man for no reason. I post, me, Yacindy, who have paid my own dues. Every time I post, you count on my post and say 1%. Proud 1%. Popularity does not mean you're a decent person. Popularity does not mean you're an ethical person. Popularity does not mean you're a right person or a good person. Majority of the people that destroy nation in the world have been people who are popular. The Adolf Hitler of the world, or Adolf Hitler. He was very popular. What did he do? He destroyed Germany. Go to Italy. Go to Russia. You think about that. Now, let me continue. And it says, former CEO of Coca-Cola, who returned to Liberia to run for the presidency, resonated deeply with the parable of Joshua Bell, the world-renowned violinist who played unnoticed in New York subway. Both highlight a poignant point. Okay, truth. Extraordinary talents and vision can often be overlooked in environments that fail to recognize or value them. All right. Cummings, despite his remarkable achievement, reviving Pillsbury, expanding Coca-Cola product lines, championing diversity, young African leader faces a challenging reality in his birth country. Liberia, a nation grappling with unemployment, entrenched corruption, and impunity, desperately need an innovative leader with global economic ethical standards. Yet, many Liberians dismiss him, reducing his credential to being someone who sells sugar water, ignoring his proven track record of transformation in leadership. Similarly, Joshua Bell, playing a 3.5 million violin and performing one of the most intricate musical composition, was barely noticed by a subway passerby who failed to see the brilliance before them. Day earlier, he had performed to a sold-out audience willing to pay $100 per ticket, demonstrating how environment and perception shape recognition and values. Comings like Bell remind us of the crucial lesson: brilliance, when placed in the wrong context, is often devalued or undervalued. Liberians reluctant to embrace his leadership reflect a broader issue: the fear of change. I want you to remember the fear of change, intimidation by competence, and resistance to accountability from those benefiting from those status quo. You see why they are? Because they're benefiting from that. Because they're intimidated by competence. Because the moment Liberians get an opportunity to test a true leadership, they will never go back to the anarchy, the chaotic people, those empty-headed, those corrupt, morally corrupt people, they wouldn't. And I'm saying it. So the challenge for leader like Cummings is to persist, to shine regardless of the stage, and to ultimately transform perception and environment through unwavering commitment to their values. And we leave it at that. So y'all go and read that for yourself. Okay? So I said to all of you, there is no need for our government officials to change anything. They are benefiting. They and their children are benefiting. All right? Today, my papa Bwaka got word. But 3 years ago, before even there was CPP, and Bwaka had a friend called Cummings, and to him to say, my man Cummings, I'm old now, I've done this. Join me. We need to save Liberia. Liberia need a leadership like you. Support you. Let's come together. When he needed money from Cummings to go to the hospital, he was his friend. I would say in my Charles Bronson voice. Yesterday, him and Costa and everybody else were raising money for him to go to hospital to do this. Today, he got fraternity brothers. Today, he got people raising funds for his charity. The last I checked, 2017 or 2018, 2019, when we had the corona, it was only Cummings Foundation that donated to his foundation to help share the oxygen tank and the mask and the PPE that they needed for the country. He didn't have no money. But now, MSs, Lebanese, business people will show up to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for his foundation. That is unethical. A certain president running a foundation and putting his face to it. That is. So I bring this back to the young Liberian people. And to end up, Mr. Gaffwan, we need new plan. You should have plans. Yesterday, you didn't tell a plan. You were over there trying to teach and being very defiant or condescending. And that's a problem. You have to remember, when you were in power in the 2011 to 2017, it was not this age. We are all connected in a global economy, in this technological village. There are a lot of Liberian, experienced Liberian out here, okay, that will challenge these things, that will ask this question, that will analyze these things, okay? I will take those things, I will sit down, and we'll bring it here, we'll play it, and we'll bring economists, okay, to analyze that. You don't need PhD, you don't need master's degree in economics or business and planning to know that what you said yesterday, it's the same old story. You're going to try to borrow billions of dollars, divide it among yourselves, and leave it there for our people. That's what this is. You didn't tell us what interest rate you're borrowing at. You didn't tell us what it is. You didn't tell us What is the return on investment? That's a problem. You owe that to the Liberian people. You are not a monarchy. You are answerable to the Liberian people, and that's why the young people must understand. These people are working for you, Liberian people. They are working for you. Okay? Now, for the last one, infrastructure and urban development. The government invested heavily in modern infrastructure. That's where I was before I went to your airport. That's the beginning, including ports, airports, public transportation, telecommunication to facilitate trades and productivity. And what I said earlier, okay? Now, efficient land use, recognizing it limits on land resources where we got. Singapore innovative urban planning, unique, such as high density housing and land reclamation. Okay, social cohesion and stability. Here we go. Multinational Singapore promotes harmony among its ethnicity or ethnically diverse population through inclusive and stringent law against discrimination and hate speech. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Y'all go find out what Lee Kuan Yew did. Okay, housing policy, affordable housing. Okay, to foster home ownership and community building. National. Let me see here. Yeah, you look beautiful.
Thank you. It's not, but it's not right. You like this one, right?
It's a lot.
How is it a lot? It's my birthday.
Okay, that's okay. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay. National identity. The country built a strong sense of national pride through shared goals and narratives, such as economic survival and collective responsibility. Okay. These strategies executed with discipline and adaptability, okay, enable Singapore to achieve rapid economic growth and social development, serving as an inspiration to other developing nations. This should be yours. Now, folks, I say enough. I will talk to you on my joining to the Tuazama Legacy Award on Saturday. It was epic. I came home really tired. So I'm going to rest and we're going to talk about that Tuesday evening. I'm back. All right. Yes. Yes. Hey, Ayuba. And so I'm going to stop here. Folks, you're not sharing. Everyone, thank you for sharing. I see that you have been sharing. Okay. You got people in the nation that the people are informed. At this point, we will not be talking about that nonsense what they're doing Liberia, but speaker business. The Liberian people would have asked, I don't know, people to step down or get in line or fall in line. Okay. They're fighting. And the thing is, they're not fighting for the people. They're not fighting to help the people. They're not fighting to say the schools are not done. Okay. They're not fighting to say, okay, the budget you are saying, this budget does not reflect the people or to empower the people. We need a budget that will change this nation. That budget does not change the nation. It wouldn't. It just wouldn't. But they're sitting, they're paying in the street to sing, to dance for their own death, to dance stagnation, to dance for their own sabotage. That's what they're doing to your children. Guess what? And I'm going to say this, and most of you will get mad, but you'll get mad. The government official yesterday positioned their children to come back and take position. You know, and I'm going to play this, and a lot of y'all will get mad again. It says, Rachel, when I listened to Janet Cooper before I appointed her, I don't know if they ever listened to that video recording, where she was praising the king that enslaved Africa. Okay, that killed over 11 million black people on their own continent to build Belgium. Leopold of Belgium. That lady sat there, called him a hero. I was shocked. And they were supposed to be an educated woman. And our skills were, oh, when the people came to Liberia, they could not relate, they could not do this. When you all came to America as refugee, you all went in the interstate city to act for. And I was like, what? Really? God's degree don't make you educated. It just means you read and you pass. Okay? But the essence of education is it's supposed to make you think and think critically, to be able to innovate. That would be that. And I'm looking and then like, really? 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 So if Liberia were any country for that matter, the people would be in the street. But I see people come. You like it, you don't like it. Kun is the new speaker. The other group come. You don't like it, you don't like it. Kofa is the new speaker. Guys, there is something fundamentally wrong with our country that we who know better need to stand up. If we don't, you and myself will not see it this lifetime. We will not see the Liberia that some of us have been fighting for 40 plus years. And hard, okay? 10, 11 years, we're not going to see it. That's just the way it is. Whether we agree or not, that is the fact. That is the hard truth. When you have another country, you come and brag about you having master's degree in a country that had 95% unemployment. A country that says, man, you care my power, we will vote for you. A country that says you know, but you don't know, but we will vote for you. A country that says even in the casket will vote for you. Something is wrong with our minds. I don't get it. And we're okay with it. People are sending me information. Now they said the executive is sending the budget to Kun. And folks, you think about it. So the next time we can talk, guys. You can call in. The number is here, so we can talk because we need to know if during Ellis Tyler time, similar thing occurred. The legislature did not go back to write remedy to this issue. Spell out how these things should be conducted or next time. They failed. Then it happened to snow or anything. Why are they there? Years after year, we came from an oligarchy. Now we're to a kleptocrat. Thing. The offer. Now you people who are telling you just tax our people. You don't create job. Liberians, you need to understand this. The war over that collect taxes, the majority of the taxes in America that I know of is based on personal income tax, meaning you have a job, so you pay taxes. I can't pay tax to you when I don't have a job. So where are we going? The what tax? When you don't pay, what are you going to do? Tell the people land, break it down? Most people don't even have a place to live. They're renting. Half of the country get flooded. So what is who the government working for? You are not people centered. Who are you working for, Liberia? Who is the government working for? So we're going to talk about what the role of the government, and then I will talk about my day out. Folks, I need to sleep. I need to get some rest. I have a long day ahead of me tomorrow. And he cannot use his foundation money to celebrate his birthday. They are lying. Where did he get? Where did the foundation get money from? Where did the foundation get money from? You see, when you live in dishonesty, we have a saying, lies begets lie, right? So once you lie, you're going to continue to lie to cover the lie. Pastor, I'm going to go rest myself. Thank you. So I will say good night to y'all. And let me say again to all our birthday celebrator, Tag and Mr. Cummings, happy birthday to y'all. You enjoy the 365 or 366. God continue to bless y'all. I hope he carry you around the sun again for another time. And then we will be there. All right. To celebrate you. So love you, sis. Continue to be you. Continue to fight. Continue to have a voice. It's a hard place to be a woman, but it's a better time to be a woman. Be heard. We have a voice and we'll continue to speak. Folks, I have a good night. I want to say thank you so much for listening. You're out there. Randolph, if you're ready, give me your schedule. Let's start coming on regularly. My aunt has a radio station. We're going to be going live in Liberia. We're going to see how we can support her and own a share in the radio station so we can start working. All right. You got a country with 3.5 million people who can afford to eat, but the president gets paid millions. President gets paid millions of dollars. The speaker gets paid millions of dollars. The protein gets paid millions of dollars. The deputy speaker gets paid millions. The cabinets get paid more than Ghana cabinets, more than Sierra Leone cabinets, more than Guinea cabinets, more than even Africa Coast, who has a bigger budget, and Ghana. The lawmakers get paid more than my lawmakers in Georgia with $40 billion in a budget. It's a shame. LU is closed, and they have no reason, and they say there's no work going on. So we're gonna. Why is it closed? Yes, Paul, I miss you too. And let's get back to work. We got a lot of work to do. I have said my piece. So, folks, good night. God bless. Okay, let's get back to work. Folks, listen, let me tell you something. Don't get mad at our people. Paul and the rest of you can bear with me. Sis Sarah, you can bear with me. When we started this journey on social media 8 years ago, 2016, 2017, if you remember, especially 2017 and 18, we used to have the young man, Emmanuel Macedo, and his friends to take laptops and speaker from community to community to teach our people their rights and responsibility. When we started, Liberian people would say, you don't question your leaders. Today, they question their leaders. They tell them you're working for us. It would take this time in education. Lots of educating, because knowledge is power. The culture or the tradition and religion in our country, it dictates the minds of our children. We are not taught to ask questions. We are not taught to be critical on elders. We are not taught to challenge the status quo. So we have a long way to go. If any of you on this platform, if you never seen the movie called The Giver, see 1 and 2, you will know where Liberia is. Thank you, sis. Watch The Giver. The Giver, I will put it on my Facebook. Please watch it. These people have created all the Truman Show. They have created this place that in the minds of our people, this is the best that it can be. There's nothing outside of there. We are able to talk because we have left, we have traveled, we have experienced. Not just that we got education, we got in world-class education. I always told people, and I'm going to say this, when I first went to school in this country, my thought process was different because I went to tech school. I went to school for telecommunication and electronics. Until I went to business school, where I got the opportunity to learn about how the rest of the world works. History, music, politics, international business, okay? Interstate and agency laws in my business school. It kind of opened my eye to a new world, how I see it. How people do business. Learn about other people, other nations, the culture. What separates all of us? So we have to be empathetic. We have to continue to educate. We have that responsibility. Once we're not those that left and were bragging here, making $20,000 a month, $30,000. Some of them say they have business. Some of them say they were manager. Some of them were working with us in the name of change. While given an opportunity, the buck starts with the leader to hold those that they appoint accountable. That's how you change. You got a leader, Western, people there, his nieces, his nephew, his daughter, everywhere. I heard some people, I'm going to stop here. Folks, good night. I've been here for almost 2 hours. I needed to be here for 1 hour. Let's stop. I miss you guys. So I'm here. Good night, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for standing in. Sis Sarah, I'll reach out to you. Yes, let's get to work. I really, really appreciate it. I will need all of the help. I need you guys to be available. Okay. Let's educate. So now people get tired with the one voice and the one face. All right. But we need all hands on deck together to change our people. And although I say I was going, I want you all to know, right? John Muhammad, go on my Facebook and see what his record was, why he coming back was possible. I want all of you to go there and read that. All right. How did he come back? Don't mind the hype. Don't mind the hype. It is a different time. Go there. It's on my Facebook. We'll talk about it on Tuesday. Okay. I said, how was his comeback possible? So, John Mahama, born on 1958, all right, in Ghana, is a seasoned politician, member of the National Democratic Party. Okay, he served as a vice president until July 2012, when he assumed the presidency following the death of John Evans Atta Mills, John Mills. Okay, Hamas was elected president later that year and served until 2017. During his presidency, Mahama prioritized infrastructure development, initiating significant projects such as the, I don't know this name, but Kenjatia Central Market, okay, the Who Airport that we have now that we brag about in Ghana. Also address the country's energy crisis. You hear it? Okay, known as the DOMSA, by implementing to stabilize electricity supply. You all hear Liberian people? That's what he did. The National Democratic Congress, founded in 1992 by Jerry Rawlings. And Ghana is what it is because of Jerry Rawlings. All right? When Jerry Rawlings was given an opportunity, he's the only African president who didn't have bank account in other countries. Office was still broke and asking people, and they still who put people on marketplace for stealing, for corruption. He was very intentional. So you hear the party history? You hear it? Okay, now let's go ahead. Go on my page and read that. All right. Emphasize social justice, equity, and grassroots participation, aiming to build national access for the benefit of all Ghanaians. Okay. Now I'm gonna leave it there. You go read it while you're calling your people to come back to power. We was so bad to the point that Liberian people were so afraid that they weren't there, and they wanted anything. They didn't want to make the mistake to even skip or a beat and keep in there. Good night, everyone. That's it. Okay.